Wow. Yappers unite. What a planned entrance. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Yap session. First and foremost, we gotta address the farmer's fit. I think it does, oh my God, one of my buttons were undone. I think it does this place pretty justice. We're actually here today. First of all, we're talking about the new Niantic Terms of Service, which I did promise I was gonna talk about this week. And it's pretty juicy. I did a little digging before this. It's also raining right now, and it's, I did a little digging before this. Yeah, it's pretty juicy. Juicy, is that a word you can describe? I don't know, it's an interesting word to describe things. But anyway, juice is the word of the day. We're here at the beautiful, I forget what these are called, but it's like these gardens that are like very well kept. I don't know if there's like a speaking meter, like amount you can, like how loud you can be around here. So hopefully I don't break the speak meter. What are you even talking about, Dax? Hopefully I don't break the speak meter. But it is a beautiful, beautiful place to be other than the rain. Honestly, I don't mind the rain. It's going to keep me refreshed. Today we're talking about the Niantic Terms of Service, which are pretty insane stuff. Yeah, it's honestly pretty crazy. Nonetheless, we're going to get into it. Overall, by the way, I feel like I always just do like a how my week's been, what has happened in the last week. Since the last Yap session where we yapped about, what did we yap about? The Niantic banning players. I shot that earlier, or last week, actually. Since that's happened, not much has happened in my life. We've been chilling pretty hard. Unfortunately, two of our actually something I guess I can talk about. I don't know if I have applications out yet, but I will mention this. Unfortunately, two of our editors, Becky and Braden, are unfortunately leaving our team shortly. So we are looking for new members of the team. So if you're interested in becoming an editor for the Pokédaxi team, I'm going to have application forms. I don't know if they'll be out yet, but I do just want to take the opportunity to say, honestly, huge thanks to Braden and Becky. They have been the ones who have been editing the videos for the longest time, and they're moving on to better things. I don't know if I want to say, like, personally, I don't want to say better things because I feel like, you know, I love them being here, but honestly, I'm just really happy for them and the opportunities they're getting and stuff they're doing. So honestly, just a round of applause. Thank you, Braden and Becky, and I wish you guys the best in the future. And yeah, opportunities to become an editor. I'm looking for new editors, or maybe I'll just edit. I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, that's something I want to talk about. Other than that, not much has happened this week for me. Hopefully your week's been well. And yeah, let's get into, you know, I don't want to say this is going to be a dark chat, but the Niantic Terms of Service are pretty, it's a dark place to go to. You know, we're diving deep into the dark. Honestly, any lawyer thing, like anytime there's like a contract or something like that, like I always find it kind of gruesome to talk about. Anyway, I see a beautiful, I don't know if it's a cabana, I don't know, like a covered area over there. So I'm gonna go over there and we're gonna go ahead and yap it up. Oh, damn, that was kind of gangster. Okay. This is wet. My butt's gonna get wet, but it's worth it. Look at it. Look at this place. This is what is this actually? Sorry, I'm trying to read the signs here, and they're not really telling me much. Anyway, this is a very beautiful place. I thought there was a cover. There's really no cover, so I'm still getting rained on. But you know what? It's worth it in the end. We're gonna go ahead and talk about the Niantic Terms of Service. Now, what did I do? I read a little bit up on them before, and I was able to find, granted I just stole this from the Mystic 7 video, I was able to find the what are these called? Doc decoders, which are pretty much just for dummies like me, explaining the mumbo jumbo of lawyer talk. Like, you know when you read like a contract and you're like, what in the world? I feel like you guys can't see me very well. One second. Doc decoder. Anyway, this will break down pretty much in general the Niantic Terms of Service and what what it means. Because, like, again, if you read the construct of thy empathy means like what? No, stop. Niantic Terms of Service summary. So this is what we got. We got a couple points here. We got pluses and minuses. That's even nicer. These are from the Reddit people, by the way. So shout out to the Reddit people. I'm not 100% sure who it is, but I'm going to try to link it below to the source. Actually, I can link the source below because I know where I found it. Anyway, first one, your account can be terminated at any time without notice if you breach the terms. Actually, before we get into it, when you sign into Pokemon Go, if you haven't signed in since they've been updated, I don't know the exact date they've been updated. It doesn't say that here, eh? Last updated July 18th, so maybe this was maybe this was July 18th, so this was like a month ago it got updated, the time service. But if you sign in and you click yes to the terms of service, you agree to them. If you click no, you can't play. It's pretty much like all games where like if you don't agree to their terms, they're not gonna let you play. They pretty much have all the power here because again, they own the game. And I think like whether you agree or not, they're not really gonna change things because, you know, Jimmy Joe says, no, I don't agree to the terms of service kind of thing. So anyway, Niantic terms of service, I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. But if you don't agree to it, you don't get it. So you have to agree to this. Anyway, your account can be terminated at any time without notice if you breach the terms. Now this, in all honesty, kind of makes sense because at the end of the day, like if you break the terms, means your account could be terminated. This is just pretty much just saying if you cheat, your account could be terminated. I have no really big issues with this. It is on the thumbs down list, I will say. My problem, I guess, with this is your account can be terminated at any time at any notice without notice if you breach the terms. But again, I think it's if you breach the terms. It's not just like your account could be terminated, blah, blah, blah. You have to breach the terms. So again, don't breach the terms and you'll be good, I guess, but let's see what the terms are. Okay, so the terms are, first of all, you waive your right to participate in any class action lawsuit or class-wide arbitration. Now this has been the one that's been going around the internet. Pretty much, if you are signing the Niantic terms of service, agreeing, you pretty much are not allowed to sue Niantic for anything they've ever done. You completely waive your right to participate. And it says participate too. It's not like you're the suing. You can't even be like a witness or something like that in that situation. So pretty much Niantic is trying to cover their bleep right now by completely allowing anyone who plays Pokemon Go and agrees to the terms of service, you can't sue them. Now the reason they do this is because if you don't know, back in the day, there was people who would like, you know, play while driving and crash their car, or play and walk off a cliff, you know, or what else happened? You know, Niantic, anytime they run a terrible event and people feel like they can sue Niantic, pretty much Niantic is taking away anybody's right to go ahead. Oh, there's a, what is this, a little mini tractor driving by with little leaves in the back? They're pretty much waiving your right to do any of that. Now, do I agree with that? No, because at the end of the day, and I think this is more of an American thing, but Americans, there's a big suing culture over there. I don't know if that's a culture. Like, it's just, you know, America likes to sue. So I think Niantic is trying to protect themselves, especially from Americans, from suing themselves, from suing. And at the end of the day, like, again, I got to preface back to this. At the end of the day, it's not there's a reason why Niantic can do all this and say all this and people will still play the game. And I'm going to get to that. But I do not think it's great. It's a great look on them to completely take away the right for anyone to sue them. Because it's pretty much saying, hey, we're not liable for any of our mistakes and we will not take claim for any of our mistakes in that financial manner, I guess you could say. So anyway, it is what it is. Moving on, no refunds for virtual goods or virtual money once purchased. So pretty much you're saying they have no refund policy. This, I guess, kind of makes sense. Some companies have refund policies, some don't. But they're pretty much saying that, hey, you'll never get a refund from us, no matter what, Now, I think Niantic still does give refunds. I've heard of stories where people give refunds. Granted, again, this is the new Niantic service, so it might be different now. But I think they're just trying to say that, like, we are not liable to give you refunds. We don't have to give you refunds. Maybe sometimes we will, but we're not really liable. Now, granted, again, I don't think this is great. Not having a refund policy is never good. It's never a good look. But you'll notice with a lot of these is Niantic is just completely trying to cover their bleep. It is raining so much right now, but it's fine. They're pretty much just trying to completely cover their bleep and not have any liability. That's pretty much what they're trying to do at the end of the day. So again, refunds is another thing that goes into that. I don't agree with that. I think refund policies are great, especially because sometimes people buy things and they don't really like the order or something like that. It's pretty much just bad customer experience, in my opinion. Not having a refund policy pretty much means you have bad customer experience. You know, you don't trust your product that, you know, that people won't be refunding it. Is kind of how I see it. Anyway, Niantic can employ mechanisms to detect and respond to cheating, including checking your device for unauthorized software. Now, this is the one that gets me. The first three, I think, are not great at all, but, like, you know, it's just Niantic trying to cover themselves. But this is, like, pretty much Niantic can employ devices into your phone to detect cheating. So they can go into your phone and detect cheating. Use different technology to check if your account is cheating. Now, granted, again, the other day I don't agree with cheating, and the way Niantic needs to find ways to ban cheaters, and I agree with that. But going into people's devices, like, in that manner, I think is weird, and especially with this second point, Niantic is not liable for any damages or losses resulting from the use of the services. No, okay, wait, use of the services. I'm guessing are they relating to the looking into the cheating, or are they just looking into Pokemon Go? Nonetheless, Niantic not liable for damages or losses resulting in services, I don't think is a very agreeable term, because at the end of the day, it's Niantic's fault. Like, if Pokemon Go has an issue and then it messes up your, I don't know, you lose a bunch of photos on your phone, or if Niantic goes into your account to check if you're cheating and it ends up deleting your whole account and you're not cheating, Niantic's like, I'm not reliable. It's Niantic's fault. They should be reliable. They should be liable for that, you know? So, again, added to the list of ones I don't agree with at all. Neither of those. Again, I agree with catching cheaters, but I don't agree with really going into people's phones to get cheaters. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's just better ways to do this. Again, maybe not maybe. I am an uneducated. I don't really know development tools and how hard that process is. So I'm trying to go in with an open, humble mind. But I don't know. It just sounds a little bit weird to me to checking your device for unauthorized software. Like, what do you mean check? Like, what are you sending a bot into my phone to check if I have PokeGenie downloaded or something? Like, that's kind of wild. Anyway, let's just move on. Niantic can change or remove virtual money or virtual goods at any time without Pardon me? That's wild. Niantic can change or remove virtual money. So pretty much what they're saying is if you have Pokecoins and you bought them, they could just take them away. They could just take them away. The refund thing I agree with. It's fine. You don't need a refund policy. But once I've purchased Pokecoins, those are my Pokecoins. Brother, those are my Pokecoins. I do not agree with that at all. That is crazy. Niantic's not liable, or Niantic can change or remove virtual money or virtual goods at any time. And no refund either needed. Like, this would make a lot more sense if it was like, hey, we can remove your virtual stuff at any time, but we would refund you, like, kind of thing. But this is pretty much saying you could, theoretically, you could spend $1 million, like 100, like let's say you spend $1,000 on Pokecoins getting ready for GoFest. That's a crazy amount. But Niantic could just go into your account and just remove them. And then bang, you're down $1,000. That's crazy. I do not agree with that at all. I feel like I should be marking how many I agree with versus how many I don't agree with. Niantic can use your data for event features, may share it with third parties. Okay, this is an interesting one. Now, if you haven't heard for a while, there's been, I guess, like different people who agree, who believe in different things about Niantic and data sharing. A lot of people think that Niantic, their main revenue source is that they collect data from people when they go out and play or do whatever, like as they're moving around, and then they can sell that data to third parties who will buy that data to help advertising. They'll, you know, if I sell and say like, oh, you know, there's a lot of foot traffic activity here, you sell that to McDonald's. McDonald's might be like, okay, I'm going to put in a McDonald's location here and we can pull in those Pokemon Go players because there's a lot of foot traffic there. So people think that's it's like something Niantic do. At the end of the day, this is what I say, and the reason I say this is because Michael Stranka, who is the Pokemon Go director, did publicly say in an interview that they do not sell third-party data. Now, at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you whether you trust Michael Stranka or you do not trust. aka, do you trust Niantic or you do not trust what they've said publicly? Could they be lying about that and they still do it? They could. Could they not? Yes, 100%. They could be also just saying the truth. So at the end of the day, it's what you believe. But here, Niantic saying, can use your data for event features and may share with third-party. May share, they don't say sell, they say share. Pretty much kind of almost confirms that they could be doing it or they plan on doing it in the future, because this is a new terms of service. So I don't know what the old terms of service said exactly, but Niantic could use your data for event features and may share it with third parties. The funny thing is, like, you always kind of have to read between the lines here. Can use your data for event features, I think that's fine. At the end of the day, that's just going to make the game better. But may share it with third parties means, yeah, they could be sharing this information or could be selling it to, I don't know, McDonald's Canada to make some money. I don't know. We'll end up seeing what that is. I don't know. That one's kind of a little iffy for me. And again, it's up to you. Let me know in the comments, I guess, if you believe Niantic sells data or not. I know there's a lot of hard believers out there. Some people on the fence. Me, I always like me, maybe it's just like the little boy in me, but I always like to trust people. And again, if Michael Steranka said it publicly in an interview, like, I feel like you have to be really dumb to just publicly say it in an interview and it be a complete lie, because then you have to completely hide the fact. And maybe they're really good at hiding the fact that they sell data, but I don't know. I feel like that would come out in some sort of like graph about Niantic revenue and where it comes from, or I don't know. Anyway, Niantic can refuse admission or remove you from events without refund for non-compliance with the terms or misconduct. I think that makes complete sense. Like, if you don't follow the rules, you get kicked out. That's just kind of is what that's saying. Can refuse admission or remove you from events without refund. Yeah, like again, like if you're a cheater, if you're a spoofer, and you try to get to GoFest, like they could say, no, you're not allowed to be here and play this event. I don't know, makes sense. That's just like saying if you don't follow the rules, you're gonna get kicked out, blah, blah. Niantic can use your likeness and data for promotional purposes. Whoa, whoa. That's on here? Niantic can use your likeness and data for promotional purposes without compensation. Hold up, your likeness? Data, I guess, but your likeness? That's crazy. You are signing your life away when you sign this. That's crazy. So theoretically, Niantic could just use my likeness, use my face, and not compensate me as much to promote Pokemon Go, is what I'm reading from that. Or they could take your face from a GoFest. Like if they take a picture of you at GoFest, they could use it for promotion. I guess that makes sense. But I don't know, likeness is pretty deep, especially with all this AI stuff coming. Like your likeness, theoretically, couldn't they AI you and not have to compensate you? Isn't that what that means? I'm not 100% sure, but could they make an AI version of you to use in promotional materials? Okay, anyway, that's crazy. That's maybe I'm reading too much into that, how crazy that is, but the word likeness I think just triggers me a little because I feel like that's just like who you are. And just taking who you are and being able to use it freely is wild. Niantic is not responsible for any third-party websites or resources linked through the services. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Third-party websites or resources. Yeah, okay, I think that's just saying they're not affiliated with any third-party resources. Okay. You assume all risks associated with attending or participating in events. That's completely fine, I guess. That's just like signing a waiver pretty much for any time you go to events. Most companies do this. And again, the risks of going to a GoFest is not as crazy as the risks of going to skydiving. So it's like, I think that's completely fine. I guess that's just like saying like, hey, we're not responsible if you get heat stroke at an event or if you get a sunburn and you're kind of like in charge of that, which again, makes sense. It's liability for Niantic. If Niantic were to not put this in, like you could just go to an event, get heat stroke on purpose and then sue them for a bunch of money. Well, I guess you can't sue them anymore, but anyway, I think that's fine. That's just like take care of yourself. Niantic can change event features or cancel events without compensation. You see, this is where I get the issue. Again, no refund policy is fine. But when you're taking stuff that people already paid for and not giving a compensation, that is wild. Like people fly, like imagine, like again, let's say you spend $100 on a GoFest and you go. Like again, if Niantic has to cancel events and stuff, that's completely fine. But like not giving back the $100 that people spent on the ticket, like that's crazy. I don't know why Niantic is doing that. At the end of the day, like that is just a little bit sleazy business practices, because at the end of the day, that's going to make you lose trust with your customers because you're not compensating them if you mess up. If you have to cancel an event, or even if it's not your fault and there's like a storm coming and you have to cancel an event, I don't know if I fully agree with that. That is crazy. Okay, Niantic can employ security measures and searches at events. Refusal may result in denied entry. That is fine. That's like saying like we want to keep our events safe. Yeah, every music festival does that. Niantic can terminate inactive accounts after a period of inactivity. Interesting. Okay, they can terminate inactive accounts. At the end of the day, I think Niantic said that they can terminate anyone's accounts. Oh no, they said they can terminate your account if you don't follow terms of service. It's very vague. What is a period of inactivity? I don't know if I fully agree with this. I'm not sure why they're doing this either. It does kind of suck for people who might have played in 2016 and want to pick back up the game and then they realize their old account is gone. I guess they're just trying to encourage people to keep playing. This feels like something that really doesn't need to be in here. I don't know why it's in here. It's in here, I guess. Can terminate inactive accounts after a period. Like, why? Maybe they need, like, data server space or something. Okay, interesting. Niantic can use your data for emergency notifications and public event leaderboards. That's completely fine, I think. That's good. That's like, I think that's for, like, you know, Amber Alerts and stuff. Like, Niantic theoretically could help, you know, like, if you get kidnapped and you were playing Pokemon Go, Niantic could take that data of where your Pokemon Go account is and then give that information to the police. That's kind of how I see this, and I think that's pretty good. Public event leaderboards as well, that's like, they're going to take your information, like, if there's like a, you know, like, you know when we have the global challenges, I think that's pretty much what that means. Like, there's a public event or an event in Pokemon Go, and they want to share like how many catches you've gotten, and they're like, oh, you know, Jimmy John has the most catches in the last hour in the world. I don't know. That's how I see it. Niantic is not liable for any damage resulting from third-party services affecting your use of the services. That's completely fine. I agree with that. That's like saying if you cheat and if you spoof, whatever the spoofing app does to your account or to your phone is not Niantic's fault. Agreed. Niantic can refuse admission or remove minors from events without a parent or guardian. That's fine. Again, liability thing. You don't want kids running around without parents or guardians. Niantic can use your feedback and analytic data collecting during beta programs without compensation. Again, it's the data thing. So like theoretically, they are collecting our data here. You can use your feedback and analytic data collecting during beta programs without compensation. Again, that's fine. They're just trying to improve the game, I guess. It's not the greatest thing, but it's not the worst, I guess. I don't know. Niantic can change or remove any virtual money or virtual goods without liability. Again, that goes back to the thing where it's like they could just change or remove money from your account. I don't agree with that at all. That's crazy. I think they're also mentioning that they can like change box prices and change stuff like that without liability. Niantic can use your data for demonstration, promotional, and advertising of services. Again, more data stuff, okay? Niantic does like to use your data. And Niantic can terminate your account for suspected fraud, cheating, or misuse of content or services. Again, that's just saying that like if you cheat, your account could get banned. Pretty much. Suspected fraud is a little sus because it's suspected, it's not actually fraud. So the fact that they can kind of get you for suspicion is wild, but anyway. Okay, that is all the bad stuff. That is, again, overall, like I'm gonna say, not all of it is great, but there are some stuff I do agree with. And I am very curious to see how this compares to the old terms of services. My issue is mainly the removing and not compensating people when they remove stuff. And then also the lawsuit thing is kind of crazy. But again, it's like, my biggest issue is like, hey, we can just take money away from your account that you spent money on without liability. That's crazy. And also the likeness thing is really sus for me. But they've also broken up some points that are thumbs ups. So I'm gonna read these. We're gonna move location. My butt is really wet from sitting on this chair, but it's all for the YAP session. So yeah, let me move and we'll continue to YAP. Ugh, the overalls, eh? This is Farm Boy Dax mode. This is like, you know, if you ever played the main series games, you know, like the farmer trainer, there's like Trainer Joey on Route 1, and then there's like farmer trainer on Route 2. I'm like farmer trainer. You've challenged farmer trainer to a battle. Okay, I'm out. Bye. Okay, brothers, let's move on. Brothers and sisters, you're here. Location change, by the way. It's nice. It's a nice park. It's still raining though. Anyway, okay, let's move on. Niantic can modify the terms at any time, and continued use implies acceptance of changes. So I'm gonna say, I think I realize right now that the thumbs down are the ones that they think are bad, and these are the ones that are like, okay, this is fine. So yeah, that's fine, completely fine. You must use the services at your own risk and be aware of your surroundings. Makes sense, yes, that's like take care of yourself. Certain country-specific terms apply, which may affect your rights and obligations. That makes sense as well because they do want to cover like the different countries. Because the one thing I was mainly reading is like suing culture is really big in America. So like how does this affect people in like other countries? I guess no matter where you are, you're agreeing to not be able to sue. Again, it's probably a very country by country basis thing. I'm gonna zoom this in a bit. You must create an account to use services and are responsible for activities under, okay. You must comply with all applicable laws and event policies while using services, okay? Niantic provide a limited, non-exclusive license to use apps and services. Yes, like, yeah, okay, it makes sense. You must use services in a safe and appropriate manner, avoiding any unlawful or inappropriate content. I hope so. You must provide accurate information when registering for events or purchasing tickets. That's an interesting one, so you can't lie on your stuff, which again, makes sense. I could see some people not being happy with that because maybe they don't want to put like their real name or something. I don't know. You must not use services for commercial purposes without permission. Ooh, that's interesting. So you can't commercialize this. Does this count as commercializing my Pokemon Go? I'm not 100% sure. I don't think so. You must not use services for commercial purposes. I already read that. Niantic can monitor and remove content that violates the terms or is Oh my God. Objectionable. That's a word right there. That's a word. Yeah, that makes sense. You must use supported devices and internet connection to access the services. Okay. Again, sorry, I don't know why I'm making these dramatic, because these are the ones that people agree with. You must not share your account password and must notify Niantic of any unauthorized use. Yes, please do not share your password, because you will get banned. Not banned, you will get hacked. You don't want to be hacked. It's the worst thing. You must engage in any activity that may result in injury, death. You must not engage. I said you must engage. Injury, death, property damage, or liability. Yes, you must comply with all health and safety policies at events. You must not use unauthorized softwares or techniques to alter or falsify your device's location. Don't cheat. You must not collect or share personally identifiable information with other users without permission. You must not reverse engineer, decompile, or disassemble the apps or services. Interesting. Don't reverse engineer. It says apps or services. I wonder if this includes, like, services includes like a Pokemon Go++. Like if you open it up, see how it works, you know? Interesting. You must not use services to violate any applicable laws or regulations, 100%. You must not violate services to harass, threaten, or violate the legal rights of others. And you must not use the services to gain unauthorized access to property or location. So yeah, these are all the ones that on this docu decoder, they're just pretty much saying this is all standard, or maybe this is stuff that hasn't changed from before or is not like completely crazy. But at the bottom we have 5 check marks. Let's read these. You can opt out of the arbitration agreement within 30 days. So actually, I feel bad because I'm making this video. I think it's too late if you signed it when it first came out. But when you sign the agreement, I'm going to put a picture on screen. It's from Stephanie Meth. Put away, if you actually you can actually send in an email and opt out of the I can't sue Niantic thing that we talked about earlier. So it's very interesting. Term of service, you have to agree to them, but then you can opt out. So if you send an email to terms of service at support.nianticlabs.com, if you send, just copy paste the email that Stephanie sent with your trainer name, all that stuff, you can opt out of it. So if you, like, honestly, just worth sending it now, try to opt out, because then at the end of the day, you can sue Niantic if it ever comes to that point. Personally, I'm not really big on suing. I don't really see a reason to ever sue, but I guess you got to cover your basis. And if you do plan on wanting to sue Niantic at some point, I guess, opt out of that agreement, which is nice. So, like, at the end of the day, this first line here that says, oh no, second line, you can waive your rights to participate in any class action lawsuit or class-wide arbitration. You can opt out of that, which is good. Anyway, parents can monitor their child's online activity and use of the service through Niantic's Kid Parent Portal. Okay, that's great. Go parents. You can terminate your account anytime through the app help centers. Okay, and Niantic respects intellectual property rights and compiles with the DMCA process. And you can submit feedback and suggestions to Niantic, which they may use to improve their services. There it is. That's all. So that is pretty much things to watch out for. You're kind of be terminated any time. There's a couple different points here. Look, can Niantic terminate account without notice? Yes, Niantic can terminate your account at any time without notice if you breach the terms. So again, I really like the point. It says if you breach the terms. Again, I don't think that you should be scared that your account's just going to get deleted randomly. It's only if you cheat. So don't cheat. You'll be fine. But do be scared of your Pokecoins, because again, Niantic can take those away at any point now with the new terms of service. So again, anyone watching this video, I completely recommend you go and try to send that email so you can opt out and get out of that 30-day or that I can't sue Niantic rule. But other than that, if you don't agree with any of these terms, then unfortunately your hand is kind of tied, because it's the only way to play Pokemon Go is to accept these terms. And now, I think this is an issue. And I think there is an issue in all this. And I want to talk about it. But not right here. I'm going to go to a different spot. So let's just clap my hands. Okay, let's talk about it. Now, the main reason I think that you're kind of... Oh, it says, don't climb that tree. That tree looks very climbable. Sorry. The main reason I think that this is kind of an issue, and that Niantic can really do anything to their terms of service and people will still agree with them, is because I always say this, but the Pokemon Go monopoly is something that is just so true. Now, Monopoly, we're not talking about the game Monopoly, although that is a good game. Shout out to Monopoly Deal if you've ever played it. Great game. No. The monopoly is a term in, I guess, business or industries where it's when one company has complete hold on the market share. I guess like a monopoly example here in Canada is as far as alcohol and liquor dealing, it's all done under Ontario's LCBO, which is the liquor something. But like other stores can't sell hard liquor. So they completely own the monopoly on the liquor industry. And there's plenty of other examples of monopolies. I don't know if there's really any other ones here in Canada, but for example, the liquor one, that's the best example I have to explain it. But pretty much, it means there's no other competition. There's no one else out there competing with Niantic and taking market share from them. And that's why Niantic can do things like this, is because Niantic owns a complete market share on the GPS mobile game. There are other games out there that you can play that are GPS mobile games, but Niantic is clearly at the top. They're clearly the ones that everyone wants to play. They have the best IP, which is Pokemon. They don't own Pokemon, but they own the IP to Pokemon to put in their games and all that stuff. So there's no other competition. So when you read those new terms of service, you're like, this sucks, this is terrible, blah, blah, blah. But then you're like, well, like, what choice do I have? My hand is dealt. I can either stop playing Pokemon Go and stop playing GPS mobile games, which are amazing games to play because they get you outside, they get you active, they make you meet new friends. There's a lot of great reasons on why people play GPS mobile games. But there's no other option. There's no other option for people to go ahead and play. So at the end of the day, I think like one of the issues in which why things like this happen, and we have these insane terms of service that Niantic can go ahead and just put out there, and people are just accepting them. Number one is maybe people don't understand what they're accepting, because I know a lot of people will scroll down, bang, accept. But like anyone who does like understand, even myself, who, you know, we just went through all of it, even all of you guys, most of y'all are probably still gonna say, thumbs up, I'm still playing Pokemon Go, I'll sign it. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, like there's just no other place to go to, you know? And that's the thing, is like monopolies create like kind of like almost like an unhealthy industry, because competition is actually good in industries because it forces one game to get better. You know, like McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, if one of them is slacking, everybody's going to like if Burger King is making bad burgers, everybody's going to Wendy's and McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, whatever. And that means that Burger King is like, we got to step up our game. We got to do something better. We got to give reasons why people have to come to us. Niantic right now, they don't need to give you any reason to play with them because they're the only option. You know what I mean? So it's a term that I always keep bringing up. Pokemon Go has a monopoly on the GPS mobile gaming space, you know, or at least Niantic. You could say Niantic has a monopoly because they also have Pigment Bloom, which probably has similar Niantic terms of service. I guess it's Niantic terms of service. So when you sign it, you're signing this for Pigment Bloom, for Monster Hunter Now or Go or whatever it's called, for Pokemon Go, Ingress, all that stuff. So at the end of the day, Niantic they own it all. So it kind of is what it is. Let me know what you think of all these terms of service at the end of the day. I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments. And as always, I will react to your opinions on this YAP session in the next YAP session. So let me know what you think of it. Again, some of them I do agree with, in my opinion, I think are completely reasonable, but some of them I think are a little bit, they're pushing it. This could definitely be cut. Yeah. I don't know. It is what it is. Oh, look at this little garden here. Beauty little garden. Let me turn this up a bit. Oh, there's even like a fish. There's even like a fish right there. You guys can't really see my face, huh? Okay, well, anyway, it comes to that point now in the video. Hopefully you can hear me, by the way. And the river water is not too, or the pond water is not too loud. But let's talk about some responses to the last YAP session. Before I do that, though, I do want to announce that the Japan trip is having massive success. Shout out to anyone who's booked. We actually have 9 out of 24 bookings already. Yes, 9 people already interested in going or planning on going. So that's super exciting. It is selling out quickly. So if you're interested in the Japan trip, I'm gonna link below. It's going to be 7 days in Japan with me, a bunch of other Pokemon Go players. We're gonna be doing a bunch of things, visiting snow monkeys in Nagano. We're gonna be visiting Shibuya. We're going to an onsen town. It feels like I'm in Japan right now with this river and this is a koi pond right here. But yeah, it's gonna be an absolute blast. 7 days. The ticket includes the hotel, a bunch of meals, all the transport, all the activities, everything's included except for your flights because everyone's flying in from different locations. But again, check it out below. If you have questions or even if you're just interested and you just kind of wanna feel it out, DM me, Instagram, Twitter. I'll happily answer any questions anyone has. I've been actually chatting with some of the people who have already signed up for the trip, and I do plan on, once we confirm the trip, which we need 10 people for, which again, one more person. Once we confirm the trip, I'm gonna make a big group chat, so everyone who is going on the trip, we can add each other, start working on getting our friendship levels up so we can maybe do lucky trades when we're there in Japan. So that'll be super fun. And yeah, overall, it should be an absolute insanely fun trip. Again, if you're interested, tickets are selling quickly, so please check the link below and DM me, Instagram or Twitter, @PokeDaxi, with any questions you may have. I'm so excited to go back to Japan. Honestly, I'm just so excited to get back there and have some more ramen and sushi. Call me a gourmand. That's the right word, right? Call me a gourmand. But I like sushi and ramen, and the best place to get it is in Japan. Anyway, let's react to some of the questions. Now, last week's episode, I feel like most of our episodes have been pretty negative. I probably have to do something a little more positive next week, but last week's episode was when Niantic was banning players for over-tapping on Team Go Rocket Grunts. Okay, Dax, bro should never be a train conductor. He's a professional at derailing the conversation. This is completely true, and I am a fan of this. This is me. I'm a professional derailer. It's actually insane. Like, this is a nice water right there. It's actually insane. I just did it. That wasn't on purpose, I swear. What am I? Yeah, no, it's actually insane how much I can derail a conversation. Also, these koi fish are staying under this rock. And I wonder why. I think maybe they're protecting from the sun, or they're probably just scared of me, actually. I'm just too loud. Giovanni took control of Niantic and is just deleting people from existence who mess with him too much. Giovanni has too much control. That's insane. We're recording, right? Yeah, good. I feel like I do this once every YAP session. Let me see if we have any things. Niantic, why not add a ban to the catch cap? Don't give them ideas. I'll try not to, bro. Niantic message statement is farm your location data at all costs. This goes back to the point we saw earlier. The remote raid nerf was to get people outside and walking so they can farm data. Niantic has said they want to be the Google of farming location data, basically have a monopoly. That's funny. All these points made by SP5II are things we talked about today. Again, Niantic have publicly come out and said that they don't farm location data, or they don't sell it. They probably farm it, but they don't sell it. But is that true or not? Who knows? We got Dan saying the weekly YAP sessions are your best videos. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Your structured, polished, concise videos are great too, but these raw, unfiltered, dramatically aired, squirrel and wasp distracted videos provide authenticity and show you truly love the game. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. Again, at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy these long YAP sessions with no format, then like just go watch the formatted stuff. We have both for a reason, and it is what it is. So yeah, thank you. Sorry, I thought that guy was gonna come kick me out because I was being too loud. The best part of these YAP sessions is when Daxy's ADHD kicks in. I love it so much, so funny, keep it the work. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm glad someone appreciates my ADHD, because it is who I am. Anyway, agree with your suggestion, Dax. We should never get banned for spinning spots, and there happens to be a grunt on it. That's ridiculous. Then how do we play this game? That definitely pushes people to stop playing this game. I agree. I'm glad the ban thing was fixed, but again, it's another situation where Niantic just messes up, and then some accounts get hit by it. You know, there are people who probably still have that 7-day ban, or their 7-day ban is just finally getting lifted because of some ridiculous thing. It's crazy. This will have to be the second time in Pogo history where Essers actually affected legit players. First with the gym bots in the early days, then was this. Other than that, spoofers don't hurt players at all. Having hundreds of them shundos doesn't affect your ability to play, and no spoofers care about GBL. I'm gonna make a point on cheaters, spoofers. I think people think that spoofers don't affect players, which granted, again, like if they don't drop into gyms and they just play on their own, it's fine. But it's more that growing a cheating community in Pokemon Go will indirectly affect the legit players in terms of motivation, in terms of the different ways Niantic react to cheaters. Again, like for example, this is a great example where Niantic is trying to stop spoofers and it's affecting. So even though spoofers or cheaters might not be directly messing up your gameplay, you know, they're not directly grinding a bunch of good PvP/IV Pokemon, using them in GBL and then beating you, even though they don't directly affect you, there is still a lot of external just connections and domino effects that cheaters create. So you never really want to encourage having cheaters in a game, because at the end of the day, there will be a domino effect. I've heard of stories like people in communities saying like I think it was Brandon told me a story, and there was a kid who saw another guy and he was like, oh look, I got this shundo. And then And then the kid went to his mom and he's like, I want to get this shundo. And the mom went to Brandon. He was like, how does my kid get this thing? And then you kind of have to explain. You're like, oh, there's a cheater. And it just creates like this weird thing. And it's like, oh, there's people who cheat in this game. And that's just like a weird conversation. Kind of bring down the mood of the community as well. That's another thing spoofing does. It just brings down the overall mood. When there's like a cheater in your midst or something like that, like everyone's just kind of like, this is weird. Like, I don't really want to be friends with this person, but they could be a very nice person, you know? So it's just, there's a lot of indirect factors, and I never think we should be encouraging cheaters, even if they don't affect you. You know what I mean? What is going on? Niantic, players are no longer getting banned. Everyone still banned. End of the video. Yeah, again, I don't think players should be getting banned, but I think my video didn't affect whether people were banned or not. At this point, I like this comment. At this point, Pokemon Go is 50% mech content and 50% drama. It's honestly a reality TV show. Pokemon Go has become a reality TV show, in my opinion. The fact that Niantic even tries to set limits in the game that is about exploring is absurd to begin with. And when things like this happen, it actually stops from trusting Niantic and their games. Then again, Pokemon Company haven't been on the ball dealing with cheaters in the main series game, so I guess it's the case of Apple not falling far from the tree. Yes, 100%. Again, it's a complicated situation. Niantic is doing their best, but I feel like there could be better ways for it to be done. Again, I agree with limits because I think it does stop bots and cheaters from going absolute haywire, but like the limits should never affect the main players. Finally, we'll answer with this. Devious Drew. The issue is that they released Shadow Timber, the new King of Shadow fighting type attackers, at the same time as all the other grunts and leaders have mid Pokemon. Everyone is just checking for fighting grunts and moving on. Yeah, and honestly, that's just an issue in general, and why this was an issue is because when Pokemon Go players do play, like, they don't really battle grunts. They actually tap on a grunt to see what type it is, and then if it's not the type you want, you can go ahead and like run and not battle it. And that's like what people always do. Like, you're like, oh, it's not a fighting grunt, it's not a dragon grunt, I'm gonna like avoid it. And that's like kind of what Niantic, I guess, is trying to prevent cheaters from doing, is tapping on grunts and then avoiding it. I don't know, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, that is this Yap session. It is still raining like crazy, but we've been out here yapping for a good minute. Wow, it feels like these koi fish are multiplying or duplicating right now. Are they doing some business? Oh, I think they're scared of me. I should get out of here. Anyway, appreciate y'all tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this Yap session. Next week, I don't know what the Yap session is about, but I'm going to try to make it more positive because they've been a little negative recently. And yeah, actually, fun stuff. Dynamax was teased this morning. So maybe we'll be able to chat about Dynamax next week. We'll see. You can drop below, by the way, your suggestions for what you want to hear me talk about. I always read the comments on these videos, and I have a big list going down, creating a list of topics people want me to hear. So if you have a topic, drop it below. Again, Japan trip, check the link below. Yeah, there's nothing else to talk about. I'm yapped out. I'm going non-verbal for the rest of the day. Okay, bye. See you in the next one, guys.